Thank you for this warm, warm, warm welcome. I'm delighted to be here. Uh, as you know, I'm Kathy Tarchioni. I'm the founder and CEO of the Golden Life Community. Want to thank you for allowing me to share my story with you. I'm very excited about it. Today, you're going to be learning about what it's like to reinvent yourself in your mid 70s. For those women out there that are currently looking at the options available to you, I want to be able to share with you how I have navigated through life in the last actually 10 years, but more recently, the last 5 years, and what has happened to me and why it's important that I want to make sure that we're connected here. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're connected. So that we can move forward. So I I was told that I could do a PowerPoint presentation. I normally just do straight talking. So I created a PowerPoint, and if at some time I'm talking and I want to emphasize what I'm saying, I'm going to stop it and then I'm going to talk to you directly, and then we'll go back to the PowerPoint if that's okay with you. Today, you're going to learn about the struggles and the challenges that were put upon me, especially in the last 5 years, and how I navigated through all of the struggles. And now I've made lemonade out of lemons, and how I've done that. First thing is, in my mid 70s, I ended up opening up my own business. Now, who does that? Women don't do that. So let's dig in. Let's get started. Let me share my screen here with you and we'll get started. Okay, now what we have here, I have to move my head to the side because there's on the side here. Uh, First, I'm going to be introducing you to what I call the golden method. This is a method that I created for myself, and it was created while I was in the hospital, and now it's become a global movement. So when we go into it, it's actually about developing mental strength, and it's a framework that I've put together. So the truth is that, what if what went through my mind was, what if this isn't the end of your story? What if it's just the beginning of a new chapter? And this is for the women that are out there that are over 55 and for the men that support them. This is for the women that feel invisible, that feel as though their life is over after they've gotten to a certain age. These are for the women that have now sat back and said, okay, I'm just going to let my life go as it is. I want you to be able to feel that you can move forward. Okay, now I am Kathy Tarchioni. I'm the woman that society says doesn't matter. I'm the one that's the older one. I'm 79 years old. I'm living in my 79th year. And I'm the woman who embodies everything society tells us is impossible. I've been widowed for 15 years. I'm homebound with 24/7 oxygen as a dependency, and I have severe COPD, congestive heart failure, rheumatoid arthritis, degenerative disc disease, and now I have long COVID, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. I also have been building a global movement directly from my living room because I'm homebound. Now, I didn't start this as an exception. I started as a woman who felt invisible, dismissed, and forgotten. The moment that everything changed for me was when I was in my hospital room. 3 years ago, I was in the hospital and I was told to put my affairs in order. My brother had to come in from San Clemente, California, and he was there with me while I was putting my affairs in order. When I was told that put my affairs in order, that should have those words should have been the end of my story altogether. and I was surrounded by this deafening silence in a world that just kind of stopped around me. It's like when you're told that you have cancer or that you've got a terminal illness of some kind. All of a sudden, the world stops around you, and then and that's what happened to me. Well, the truth is, I made it 3 years later, and I was still here. Then last year, I ended up getting COVID pneumonia. I spent 2.5 weeks in ICU. And it was a devastating experience for me. They did not believe with my condition that I was going to be able to survive. But then I did. And then when I survived, they found out that I had long COVID. So we'll go into that a little bit later. Now, the question that changed everything for me was, what if this isn't the end for me? What if it's really just the beginning? Because I did not want to give up. I did not want to give up. I didn't want to give up 3 years ago, and I don't want to give up now. And I didn't want to give up last year either. So in that moment of complete invisibility, something fierce awakened inside of me. With the triple loss that I experienced that nearly broke me after my husband died 15 years, 16 years ago, I thought I knew loneliness. But after my health declined, I thought I knew limitations. And after the first hospital visit and then the ICU visit last year, I thought I knew what it was like to be at the end. And then I found out that I was wrong about all of that. The compound grief of losing my best friend and facing my own mortality created just like the perfect storm for me. So, what changed for me? Well, I was in the hospital 3 years ago, and I decided, and that's when I was told I was going to have to put all my affairs in order. I thought, well, I'm going to do a Facebook Live. It was a small group of about 300 women, that it was an open group. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do a live. So it wasn't in a boardroom or on a stage, it happened in my hospital room. Instead of me whispering my worth, I made a live Facebook video about my experience, and it was phenomenal. We laughed, we cried, and I told them I'm not going to croak today, but you never know, but I'm still here for right now. Well, I ended up having over 100,000 views and over 2,000 comments of women saying, "Oh my God, I really want you we really want to be a part of it." So what really happened to me, the revelation was that if I felt this forgotten before this video, this erased how many other women were sitting out there in their own silent rooms, believing their voices no longer mattered. That day, that day I didn't just find my voice, I found my mission. And my mission was to be able to share my experiences and share what I was feeling with women just like me, because these are the ones that were on there. So now there's a crisis behind this mission, and it's a silent epidemic. It really is. If you think about it, 20 million women over 55 are navigating life changes alone, and 85% of them have depression. They receive no healthcare assistance, and 7.7 million over 55 do report depression. The peak isolation occurs between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. when no help is available. So behind every statistic is a woman sitting in silence, believing that she doesn't matter. Well, the birth of the golden method. This is what I ended up teaching myself. I found that during this time, if I didn't get a handle on what was happening with me, I would just kind of crawl into a hole. So when medication wasn't enough, I had to create my own framework. Plus, I'm not really a big one on medication. I didn't really feel that was it. And if I were to tell the story of what I was feeling to my doctors, I was afraid they were going to think I was Fruit Loop, and I didn't want to do that. Although my doctor did say, "Well, let's get you to a therapist." And I kept saying, "No, I need instant gratification. I need instant help." Because if I were to go through the process of aligning with a therapist, it could take up to 3 months. I'm in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It could take up to 3 months before I could even get in to see somebody. I was hurting right now. I needed help right now. So that's when I decided I'm going to help myself, and I created the golden the golden method. Now, what the golden method does is it teaches about building this mental strength framework. And it all starts with the thought and emotion awareness. I found that every time I had a thought, if it was negative, I would react and my body would start to react. I could get a headache, I could get a stomach ache, I could feel nauseous. And I was doing it to myself. I literally was making myself sick. So I started to realize that every thought that I had and the emotion that was related to it, it would affect my health. Now, because I'm very spiritual, I gravitate towards spiritual individuals that talk about the science relating to the spirituality and all of the things that happen within your body. So I did have some element of framework for myself of how I would conduct myself from a mindful platform. So then I realized that then I realized that the, the only way that I could really calm myself down was if I talked to somebody. Now, I didn't want to talk to just anybody. I wanted to be able to talk to somebody who was golden to me. And how did that relate? I had to have a friend that I knew that I could share with that wouldn't judge me, that wouldn't be there trying to criticize me, and more so, one that would try and fix me. I didn't want to be fixed. I just wanted to be heard. I wanted to be known. I wanted to have acknowledgement that I exist, that my feelings are valid. These are the things that I wanted. So the connection for me to a golden sister is what I call a sistar, Sistar. That was an authentic community that I started building that heals this isolation in me. So then there was the purpose reactivation from becoming a care recipient, being myself, to a wisdom provider. I started thinking, Kathy, this isn't all about you. This is about what you're feeling that you can share with others. And then if you share with others, then you can start providing them with tools that they can use. And that's where I became a wisdom provider. So then it was all about self-advocacy. How do you develop your own self-advocacy if you don't have mental strength? You can't do that because you're too there's a connection between your advocacy and your willingness as well as your ability to be able to say, I can do this. I can do this. Women that are down, that have been defeated, that are depressed, that are lonely, that are isolated, we feel as though, what for? Why should I? So how do you build that up? And that comes from community, from golden friendships, from awareness of your thoughts and emotions, and then being able to tell your story and be able to do it in a really cohesive manner. So the self-advocacy, that empowerment allows you to take control of your own narrative. And truthfully, everyone, this framework is what really, really, it really saved my life. So then let's look at the pillars now. The first pillar is the thought emotion awareness, and there's 4 pillars. The breakthrough discovery on my end, again, as I said, that my thoughts were literally making me sicker. And the negative, that spiral that created these physical symptoms, I wasn't aware what was really happening until I started looking inside of me and thinking, oh my God, Kathy, what is happening to you? All of a sudden, you're making yourself congested. My brother can attest to this because he was with me during a time when I escalated to such a point, I made myself sick. And by the time we got home, I had 104 temperature or 102 temperature. It was really craziness. So then I have a technique that's called the golden pause technique. It's it is and the way I do this is the golden pause is, wait, is this thought, is it serving me? Is it serving my health or is it destroying it? And all of a sudden, I realize if you're sitting in line and you're upset over the fact that it's taking too long to get a prescription or something like that, and you're making yourself sick because that thought is causing an emotion to have you have a physical feeling, and that feeling is negative, and you're thinking, oh my God, I made myself sick. Give yourself a golden pause. And Mel Robbins calls it the 5-second rule. I'm calling it the golden pause because you have to ask yourself, what is this thought? What is this doing to me? Is it making me happy? Hell no, it's not. It's making you sick. So now that you know that this thought is there, then you have the ability to stop that thinking. And then how does the practice work? You have to do this daily thought inventory, which means, what did I think about during the day? What were the things that bothered me? Did I become agitated? Did I become irritable? It's like a self-check journal, virtual journal of yourself and your body and how you're moving. I myself have a lot of difficulty in moving. I have caretakers with me 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. And the caretakers, I try and do as much for myself as I can, but there's some things I just can't do. And I get frustrated with the fact that I can't do them. And when that happens, I can feel myself starting to feel unwell because I've literally done that to myself based on thought. So I have to stop and I have to say, okay, Kathy, today you started out knowing that you can't really do this, but let's see if we can just do just a little bit of it. So one baby step at a time. And then I would find myself catching spirals before they become symptoms. If I were to catch it before it happens, that would be great. And then actually choosing my thoughts that heal rather than harm, those are the good things. Things like why don't you get yourself a nice glass of water? And I would visualize the water and put some lemon in it and maybe put a little bit of ginger in it. And you know what, Kathy, maybe make yourself some tea. And I would start to feel what that was going to feel like when I was drinking it. And the result is that my health improved against all medical predictions whatsoever. Now, it's not to say that I'm well. I'm controlling my health. So then we've got pillar two, which is connection is medicine. Now, what we do a lot of times, ladies, is we say, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine," and we say that that's our authentic truth, and we know that that's not true. But that's the typical stereotype answer that strong women, in particular, want to say. We'll do that because we're not going to say, "Oh, hell, I don't feel good at all. I'm not fine at all," because that kind of diminishes us. So what we want to do is go from I'm fine to an authentic truth, meaning that we're going to go to moving beyond that performative wellness, go beyond what the expected answer is. The healing power of being witnessed without judgment is really what's really exciting. And what happens here is that power of you taking control by not allowing yourself to have a negative thought, and then you have a positive thought, and then your well-being, and you feel a little better, then that's the healing power that you have within you that you probably don't even know that you have. And the truth is that if you can make yourself sick by your thoughts and emotions, then certainly you can make yourself well. So you have a power that's a healing power that you can witness yourself without judging yourself. And better yet, if you share it with others, then they don't either. So creating a reciprocal support system, being needed, not just needy. And that's what we do when we involve other people in our storytelling. So now there's a neurological truth, which is a genuine connection that triggers the healing responses. And isolation creates that inflammation. Community creates resilience. So if you're isolated over here and you know you are, but you know you have a community over here, even if it's a virtual community, you don't have to physically be there, but you can literally be there virtually and still physically connect. And that inflammation with the golden community, this creates resilience. And then you're able to heal in a relationship, not in isolation. So when you're doing this, the idea is you're at home and you can do things on your own, but you can still be at home and still be in a virtual environment, but now you're going to share. So healing involved in a relationship in a community, then it's not being done in isolation. The third is the reactivation. There's a paradigm shift that occurs from what can I still do? What am I still doing? What wisdom do I have to share? At 78, I became an AI influencer and digital artist. And I was discovering my role as a teacher and as a community builder. The healing power of contribution is what I'm talking about here. So think legacy. How do I want to be remembered? Contributing rather than just consuming care. And there's a purpose as medicine for the soul. Purposes and looking at purpose as a medicine for the soul. So here I am giving you a big kiss. This is pillar 4, the self-advocacy, the empowerment side of it. How you take control of my own health narrative. This is what I have done. I learned to speak up at medical settings. I no longer would let my doctor handle how my care was being delivered without my input. I needed to know. I needed to make informed decisions about my care. I didn't want to just arbitrarily accept it because the test came back or because the test came back and said that I only had a year to live. Where is that written? Where's proof of that? There is none. So if I were to take control of it and be my own self-advocate, I'm making my own decisions for my care. And then building confidence in myself so that I and capture knowledge, do my research, do my internet research, find out and navigate what is happening to me in relation to my health care, in terms of my housing, and my life decisions. These were all important issues for me, but I could not have done that without building my mental strength. So let's go back to where mental strength comes in. This is at the beginning, doing a self-check, daily checks of your emotions, finding out who you are, finding out what is triggering you to get you upset, sharing it with groups and sisters that are also practicing the mental health framework and the golden method to be able to navigate to the point where you can become your own self-advocate. So what happens then? This transformation occurs. I became this very passive patient to a really active participant in my healthcare and all the decisions and everything. And there was nothing that could be done without my okay. And did you know, ladies and gentlemen, did you know that it's okay to say, no, I don't want to do that? You don't have to do everything that your physician or healthcare providers tell you to do. You can take it into consideration. You can look at the entire picture and you can decide. You know your body better than anyone else. I know my body better than anyone else. So then I learned that from accepting the limitations that I have, that I had the ability to start creating new options that would be available for me using the strengths that I have, instead of looking at my setbacks or my limitations. What can I do? I could no longer go out, and I couldn't go out to the community because I'm homebound now. So how about I bring the community to me? How about I bring the world to me? How about I tell my story and let others know about it so that they can resonate with it, and they can do with it what they want. I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to have them buy anything from me. If they can learn, adapt, want to be able to join, co-create, collaborate, get together, work with other women that share the same passion and the same mission, then that's the goal. We are all in this together. We are all going to get old. If you are 55 right now and you're looking at your mother and you're saying, "Oh my God, look at where mama's at." If you're happy with where she's at right now, then good. But if you're not, then guess what? You might be there too. So I went from having this victim mentality to the vicar with my own informed choices. So it was really a blessing. And then we went into, now I want to talk to you about the most important part of the framework for the golden method, and that's the mudroom. Now, the mudroom, that's where the golden method comes alive. And what is the mudroom? If you've ever heard of Simon Sinek, he talks about sitting in the mud with a friend. If you have a friend who is sitting in the mud and you have a choice, you can either go to them, sit with them in the mud, or you can leave. If you sit in the mud with them, you should sit there in silence, looking at them, letting them know that you hear them, not trying to fix them at all, and not trying to judge them. Just let them talk, let them say what they need to say, and you'd be surprised at the healing effect that that has. So the mudroom to us is something we created where we call it, the M is for meet and silence, where it's a space for the thought emotion awareness occurs. And then this is where you unburden your authentic connection without judgment. You get to connect with other women. And if you can feel me telling you about this now, if you are looking at another woman and she is pouring her heart out to you, and you have the feeling where you want to tell her what she should do, if you refrain in doing that and you keep it inside and you go back to actually listening to her rather than trying to tell her what to do, if you listen, all of a sudden you'll start to feel your own internal awareness where you're thinking, I hear her. I really do hear her, and I can feel her. That's where the empathy enters in and the emotions. And when that happens, then she can unburden because she feels safe where she is at, and you can feel comfortable that she unburdened to you, and you feel good because you were able to let in what she had to say without having to judge. And then she gets to decide, because nobody tried to fix her. Nobody tried to do anything. No one tried to say anything to her that made her think differently. Not a word was said. The only one that was talking was her. And then that way she has what's known as, what I call, the empowered choice. She becomes empowered to make her own choice. And then she's making it with this beautiful golden community support. Now I mean the mudroom, this isn't therapy. We're not talking about therapy, and it's not a support group. It's women choosing to sit with each other in hard moments. That's it. That's what the golden method is about. So now, how do we reach these women? We reach them globally because it's a virtual platform. So we have women from Africa, from England, from all over the world, and it's become a ripple effect. It's actually a healing a healing moment where it started in my hospital room. And then it went to a Facebook Live, and now we're serving women globally 24/7. And then the Golden Life Community, which is the company I started, we're addressing a $12 trillion market. These are women that want to get involved, and we're not saying that. So providing peer support, it can be effective. It can be more effective than professional services. And the vision, mental health support available when you need it, not just when it's convenient to providers. And the response, and then we all have a responsibility to our own survival. I do to mine. And I started the Golden Life Community because I couldn't bear the thought of dying knowing I had a solution to other women's pain and kept it to myself. I needed to be able to share it. And when you've been given a gift of understanding what women need most, to be seen, heard, and valued, you have a responsibility to create that space, even if you're building it one breath at a time. Did you know that the numbers, they really don't lie? 20 million women over 55 are navigating life changes right now. And 85% of aging women with depression receive no help from the healthcare system. And 1 in 5 women over 55 experience significant mental health challenges. Now, what does your freedom look like? If money weren't an issue, how would you live? Those are things you have to look at. If take a moment and ask yourself, if health challenges came, what support do you want? If you could contribute one gift to the world, what would it be? And if you knew you mattered deeply, what would you do differently? And your answers matter, your dreams are valid, and your voice counts. So now here's your golden invitation for the healthcare providers that are out there. Consider a peer support as your primary intervention, not a supplement. Look at it as a way to bring in, let your women in your community, let your women that are your clients or your patients, have them use our golden method through the golden connections, through the Golden Life Community. Recognize the healing power of community connection and understand that presence can be more therapeutic than intervention. Now, for the women over 55, you have more power over your mental health than you really realize. You really, really do. And your thoughts can literally change your health outcomes. And your wisdom is desperately needed by other women. So now what is your next chapter? It should begin now because your story is just beginning. What I know at 79 is that the powerful chapters often begin when we think the book is closing. Mental strength is a skill that can be learned at any age, and community is the most powerful medicine that we have. And the silence that you've been having inside, it stops here. So what will your next chapter be? The resources that I offer, that we offer, that I would love to help you with, is join our Golden Connections community. Now, this is the virtual community that's inside of the Golden Life community, where you can have experience with the mudroom and a support service, and you can connect with healthcare integration opportunities. So join us. Join us. We offer a virtual community. We have a Golden Genius assessment. We have the mudroom support. We have avatars, and then we have the housing facilitator service. So you don't have to do this alone. We're here. So let's connect. The silence stops here. The real conversation about what it means to age powerfully as a woman is just the beginning. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Now, let's talk about your reinvention. So